Hello, welcome back to Amanda Panda Teacher Live and interviews Manycam and me. I've got a friend, and we're going to be discussing and talking about Manycam. We are both Manycam using teachers, and if we have not met before, I am Amanda Panda Teacher. I am a professional online teacher and technology trainer coach. I help teachers in any context to bring technology into their classroom and the right tools to teach amazing classes that bring kids coming back again. So I am excited to have my friend here, Teacher Staci. Teacher Staci is a Manycam user, and I can't wait to hear all about her. Do you want to give a little intro? Where are you from, and how do you use Manycam? Those kinds of basics.
Sure. I'm from Oklahoma, and I've been using Minicam for about 18 months. Um, just after I started teaching for VIP Kid, I was introduced to Minicam. Started out with the free version and quickly graduated to the all the bells and whistles.
Awesome, awesome. So everyone is very interested about your device and the specs that you have. Can you talk about the device you use? Like, are you a desktop, a laptop person? What kind of guts are inside of your machine? What do you got?
So I currently use a laptop. It's Windows 10, and what other specs do you want to know? It's
Inside the numbers, does it give you any numbers like the processor? It would say a little letter I or a number 7, a 5, or a 10. And then
um, let's see. I have um so it's an Intel Core i3 8145U CPU. Um and it has 8 gig of RAM.
how old is it? Have you had it for a long time?
Um Probably a couple years.
Oh, okay.
Not
And
super new.
i3 is the processor. That's on the lower side. Do you ever have trouble in class with lag or video delays or problems?
I don't, but I use I'm hardwired into our Ethernet.
Oh, that's important. That's
So
important.
so I don't. Now um I do use Wi-Fi when I'm traveling. My husband travels for work, and so sometimes I get to go with him. And I don't get to hardwire in. Sometimes I have some issues then, but usually it's with my ping rate, not Minicam.
Oh, I see. And no freezing or delay in video on your computer.
I've never
Wow.
noticed any kind of delay.
Have you had any updates with your computer or new parts put in, or that's the specs that are listed there, that's what's inside?
As far as I know, that's what's inside.
Awesome. Gosh, you're a lucky girl. So if it really is an i3 processor, i3 and it's just a few years old. Are you sure it's i3? Is that what it said in there?
That's what it
I
says.
My old device was an i5. The reason why I'm saying my old device was an i5 processor. That one was a couple years old, and I wouldn't load Manicam on my i5. I had i5 number 4 after it, fourth generation, and it was really, really slow. I currently have
Hmm.
i7 and i7 processor, and I have good success. And I see you green screening and doing all kinds of things. So I'm surprised you're finding success without problems, but good for you. Lucky you.
It says i3 8145U at 2.10 gigahertz.
Okay, so it must be. Goodness gracious. Well, lucky you.
Yeah.
So keep your fingers crossed. Everything's going well so far. In VIP Kid for our online teaching company, the minimum specs of processor they suggest is i5. So you're running with something a little lower than the minimum specs. If you ever have problems, you're going to know that the reason why is that your computer is on the slower side. So if you have trouble, turn off Manicam, like that. Those are ways to solve problems if you ever have problems. So you're lucky that you're not having any issues. That's amazing. We talked about your stable connection with Ethernet. Can you tell about your technical setup? Are you a Google Slides user? Do you use effects? Like, how do you use Manicam in your class?
Um, I mostly use the effects. I don't use Google Slides. Now, sometimes I have created a little window if I want to show a video from another thing, but that's a little, it's just hard to make that work in a classroom for me. I'm not savvy enough to do it smoothly. Um, I find it so much easier to just show them on my phone. But I have done it. And I use things like that more with my America-based
Oh,
classes and things like that, where
I
I
see.
know all the students and I know their families. And so if something happens, they just laugh and we move on. And it's not a 25-minute, got to get these things done.
Yeah. Are you green screening? Is that what's behind you?
Yes, yes,
Oh, okay. And do you use chroma key or replace? Do you have a green panel back there on Manycam and tools?
I do. I have a green screen and I use the
Chroma key. Okay.
chroma
Awesome.
can.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Awesome. So do you use Manycam at other places
I,
besides in Manycam? Like you said, you do American teaching to kids. Do you tutor online or are you a brick and mortar teacher?
so our homeschool co-op, um, this year we are meeting every other week.
Oh,
And so we have Zoom meetings and other kinds of things. And then for children's ministry um, as well, sometimes I get on with kids, and often my daughter uses it. So one of my favorite things that we have used Manycam for was my daughter had a presentation at co-op that she had to do on Egypt.
oh,
And so we just had all the slides, all the pictures she wanted to show. And she recorded it in advance because she has major stage fright. And
oh.
so we used Manycam with all the different pictures, and she would just change the background, picture, and she would point to whatever, like a weatherman.
Yeah, awesome. Like
And
her whiteboard, but in a digital
mhm,
way. That's
yes,
awesome.
and it was fantastic. And then at class, she just showed the video, and so
And she didn't
she
have
had
to
her
worry
own
about
presentation.
doing it. That's awesome. And you recorded using Manycam?
We recorded using Manycam.
I use that all the time. It's a really great feature that not many people know about. So you can use Manycam just like a camera to use your webcam camera. It's really easy. It saves right into a folder on your computer. I edit software and my videos for YouTube, so it's really a great feature. I record with it all the time. So that's awesome. Your daughter used that for school. How cool is that? That is just another way that you can bring in and use Manycam. So, which feature of Manicam could you not live without? Like, what is your go-to you've got to have?
The stickers, the effects.
Oh, I
I
see
make
flowers.
effects. Yeah, the flowers. I make effects for rewards, for, like, instead of having props and regalia and things like that, especially when I'm traveling. I, I don't have to take a suitcase of stuff.
Yeah, it comes in handy. Comes in handy for sure. That is
Yeah.
super cool. And what advice would you give any people starting to use Manicam or beginning?
I would say download the free version and play with it. Give yourself time to just play and play. And then when you're ready, you can upgrade and get all the other cool things. So do it gradually. You're not so overwhelmed.
Definitely. That's awesome. Super fabulous. And do you have a favorite Manicam moment with students that you would share?
Um, so many, so many. The my favorite thing with my students is when you can um, pop something up and the kid's face lights up.
Oh,
So one of my students, it was an older teenage boy, and he was constantly playing a video game in class. You know, And so he would occasionally look at the screen and read, but he was totally not interested. So I asked him what video game he was playing. And the next time we came into class, my background was, and all the rewards and everything was all about that video game.
oh,
And his
whoa.
eyes about popped out of his head. And he was like, so, I mean, you know, it hooked him.
That's
And,
amazing.
he paid attention to class, and he just was a different student.
That's
So
amazing. That's amazing. I used it this morning. You love effects, so do I. One of my favorite things to do is look up things quickly. So this morning I was teaching about the unit on athletes and sports, and I asked the student if they knew the Olympics, and she said no. And when I put the image up, she was like, "Yes, teacher, I know all about the Olympics." And so she understood very clearly I was teaching her about athletes, the difference between just a person that exercises and an athlete in the unit we were learning. And she was able to really get it from a simple effect that a teacher has. Manycam has a database of over 10,000, but you make your own, which is amazing. I do too. I make backgrounds and virtual spaces, but it's so
mhm.
wonderful. It's like a catalog of images inside of my computer that I can quickly pick up when I need to. So
Yes,
that's so awesome.
yes.
Yeah, one of my favorite things. I think I also can't live without I zoom very often. I zoom out and in. It's one of the easiest ways to control my camera too. So that's my go-to. Okay, is there anything else, Teacher Staci, you would like to add or tell others about Manycam?
I don't think so. I think everyone should try it.
Awesome. That is a good endorsement. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was awesome to interview and chat with you and get to know you. And I'm so excited that you're having great success using Manicam. And everyone else, I hope to see you again next Friday for another Manicam and me interview. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks, Amanda.